Good afternoon, ice creamers. Happy Sunday. Actually, it's probably not the happiest Sunday. It's been quite the week in entertainment. We'll talk about that in a second. But I'm here with Mr. Cool J. Hey, Jay, say hi.
What's happening, ice screamers? It's good to have you join us as always, and we sincerely always appreciate that you do.
So we're going to be talking about the monkey because Cool J and myself we both saw it this weekend. But
Yeah,
coming from the UK. We do things a little bit differently in the news than North America does. And that is that generally, if there's sad news in North America, they seem to do that last. I personally, just my personal opinion, I think that should be covered first. So we're going to get into that first, and then we'll talk about the monkey and lighten things up a little bit. Shocking news. So last week last show we were talking about Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
yeah.
Sadly, we're coming back to that subject again because Michelle Trachtenberg, who played Buffy's younger sister, Dawn, passed away this week at the age of 39. I was absolutely stunned, and I'm sure you two were, J.A.
Oh God, yes. It's such a tragic loss. And again, I keep forgetting that, even though we're in the same generation, you and I, that I'm 4 years older than you,
Yeah,
and to have such a vibrant young person, regardless of their status in society or what have you. But obviously, Michelle Trachtenberg, 39. 39. It just it again, it's a tragedy because you life really is just beginning if you think
yeah,
about it. And
that's
again, we
right.
think back when we were that age, 39. Oh my God, we're at the midpoint in life. But it, at our age and looking back, she was born the October after I graduated high school. So when I look at her, you remember her as a young child actress and a brilliant actress, and I think of her, I'm like, poor kid. I refer to
Yeah.
her as a kid because she had her whole life ahead of her, and yeah, it's incredibly sad and devastating. It truly is.
I hear you, man. 39, that's just, yeah, like now it seems um apparently the from what I hear the family did not want an autopsy done and have to respect that because due to religious beliefs. But we know that she had a liver transplant, and it seems like
Yes.
this was some sort of complication from that. I know
Yeah.
that you didn't. I know that you weren't particularly the biggest fan of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Obviously, I was a huge fan, right?
Yes. Yes.
She came in at season five as Dawn, and generally it's like when you watch a show, you've been watching a show, and suddenly they introduce a sibling that you've never heard of before. That's
Yeah.
generally a sign that the show's about to jump the shark. This was the complete opposite. The way that they brought her in, it was so clever. I could do a whole show talking about just that, but it was so clever. As an audience, we fell in love with the character very quickly, and literally by a few episodes in, it was like she'd been there since the beginning. So
Yeah.
it's very sad. Our condolences to the friends and family of Michelle Trachtenberg,
Sincerely.
and
Yes.
we hope that they can find peace at this, very, very sad time.
To conclude with that thought, may her memory, seriously be a blessing and a you know a comfort to her family and those who all knew her, loved her, worked with her, and those that she brightened up their lives. May they always just keep those positive memories of her with them, and may her memory and light shine eternally.
Beautifully said, my friend. Beautifully said. So that kind of brings us to the other big shocker of this week. And I'm pretty sure that there's going to be a big, I mean, as we're recording this,
Yeah.
we're recording this the Oscars tonight, right? So I'm pretty sure there's going to be a very big in memorial for Mr. Gene Hackman.
Yes, yes,
Wow, I mean, it's the definition of the word legend, right?
yes. Oh God, yes. He literally is a Hollywood icon, and you know, uh, I didn't realize how old he was until obviously, he passed away, and they said dead at 90, I think 98 or 95.
95,
95.
95. Yeah,
He was born 1930. My father was born 1937. I didn't realize that he was 7 years older than my father. And again, it just puts life in perspective. But he had such a long, wonderful, fulfilling, and such an accomplished life.
yeah.
I know when we were messaging back and forth, we're like, "Oh my God, did you hear this? You had some of your favorite movies. I had some of mine." It's really hard to pick because he has such an illustrious and huge discography. He really does. It's really hard to choose out of all the titles that he's been a part of. It really is.
Yeah.
And you know, the one thing, like, just with Michelle, again, such a tragic, because she's such a young lady, and Mr. Gene Hackman. The thing that really, and I apologize, but really fucking pisses me off. And I know that media outlets have to sell advertising, what have you, but I'm so sick and tired of the speculation. It kind of, for me, mars the memory of these people that we love. And I'm
You know
sorry,
what? Yeah.
I had to get that
No,
off.
no, no. Do not apologize, man. Like seriously, like that's how you feel, and I agree with you. It really it does it's a very fine line between acknowledging the tragedy of the deaths and then turning it into this mystery story. I mean, yes, it was mysterious circumstances, but at the end of the day, it's until such time as it comes to light, eh,
Yeah.
let's focus on the memory of what the man gave um, to us movie fans. And on that note, you said something else there, and that is you actually said two things I want to pick up on.
Yeah.
One that you mentioned about you know you not realizing the age of the actor, which is something that I dwell on a lot because cinema is true immortality, right? Whenever you bring
True.
up,
True.
right, whenever you think
Yes.
Gene Hackman, you don't sit there and think, oh, I wonder,
Yeah.
he's in his 90s. You think Lex Luthor, you think
Yes.
Popeye Doyle, right? You think of these
Yes.
characters, right? That's what pops to mind.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, on that note, we you said that's the other thing you said. You said, when you're talking about someone with that kind of legacy,
Yes.
that kind of inventory of performances,
Oh yeah.
to boil it down to one or two is really difficult. But let's do that, and let's
Okay.
go into that. Let's go into that positive space for a second there.
Yes. Yes.
And I got a couple of favorites.
Hmm.
Tell me, what are yours? What would you say? What would you say your two or three favorite Gene Hackman performances?
Well, two that really stand out because it really, again, showed the diversity of Mr. Hackman, as an actor and individual. Uh, I thought it was so refreshing and entertaining that he played the senator father in The Birdcage with Robin Williams and Diane Wiest, amongst others, of course. Hank Azaria, who obviously was one of the major voices of The Simpsons, but for Gene Hackman, and actually he was kind of a liberal, for him to play a tongue-in-cheek kind of caricature of a almost evangelical congressman running, or senator running for president, and just the fun he had with it, and playing against the energy and the charisma of Robin Williams. I thought that was a wonderful, wonderful role and an incredible movie, one of my favorite movies. But earlier on, that showed his comedic chops, even if it was just a cameo, was playing the blind lonely man in the parody of Young Frankenstein.
Oh my God, I completely forgot. You're right. He was so. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't
That
mean to cut you off.
short,
You
that
just.
short scene, he was still brilliant, and he had fun with it. those are the two roles that really do stand out for me amongst others. But I thoroughly enjoyed him in those.
Beautiful. Good call there. And although this is not one of my picks, I'm going to give you my two picks. You just reminded me, when you're talking about humor, he was in another film with one of my big crush, Jennifer Love Hewitt,
Oh yeah,
Heartbreakers,
yeah.
where he was
But,
the dude in that, right? That they were both kind of playing him or whatever, right? Like
mhm.
he was a rich old guy or whatever. But
Uh-huh.
my two favorites, and there's a spookiness to my first one because I have a buddy in the UK, a friend Nick, who I've known for many years, and in an eerie twist, he brought this up about a week or two ago before I was sitting up one night and I was watching I ended up watching the Tower Inferno, and I got into a
Oh my
conversation with
God.
right I got into a conversation with Nick about disaster films, and he had said
Yeah.
to me, he said, you know, man, he said, I always the the scene that always brings a tear to my eyes in the Poseidon Adventure. He said, where, you know, Gene Hackman's character, Reverend Scott, there's a jet of steam that's blocking their path, and he has to jump up and turning the wheel of this thing to shut the valve off.
Yes.
And you know that, and I'm like, yeah, that's a touching scene, right? And then we're talking about that, and then a week later he passes, right? But yeah, getting to the Poseidon Adventure, that's definitely one that sticks with me because as a child, when I watched that, and that scene where he does that and he leaps across and he's holding on to that scorching hot wheel and he's turning it,
Yeah.
that was the first instance that really made me think about the nobility of sacrifice.
Yeah.
Watching that character do that, knowing that he's finished, he's not coming back off of that wheel, he's gonna drop into the fire and be gone, right?
Yeah.
So I loved Gene Hackman in the Poseidon Adventure. I loved him in that. The other one, which that I really adore,
Hmm.
and again, oddly enough, it's another at sea movie, and that is, have you ever seen Crimson Tide?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh my
Incredible movie.
God, Captain Frank Ramsey, watching him face off against, I mean, two
Mhm.
titans, Gene Hackman, Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
Good God, that film,
Yes.
on a nuclear submarine.
Yes.
Um, do we launch our missiles? Do we not launch our missiles? Are we starting World War III? Are we not starting World War III? Oh my God, talk about a nail biting film, or sitting on the edge of your seat. I was just ripped through that.
Yes.
Such a great film and such a great performance. And what I love also about his particular performance in that film is that, he plays this complete hard ass that won't, it's like, no,
Yeah.
I'm right. And you've got this mutiny going on where, his first officer, his XO Denzel, is trying to
Hmm.
take over the submarine to stop him. But I love the fact that when all is said and done at the end, and it turns out that Denzel was right,
Yes.
they shouldn't launch. There had been a ceasefire negotiated or whatever had happened.
Mhm.
And he goes to when Denzel's in the court hearing, and he's assuming that Hackman's gonna like shit all over him and say, like,
Yes.
oh, but no, he owned the mistake. And he's like, you know what? The dude was right. I
Yeah.
was wrong. Right? I love that. It's so cool. But yeah,
Yeah.
God bless Gene Hackman. May he rest in peace. And as we said with
Yes.
Michelle Trachtenberg,
Yes.
thoughts going out to the friends and family at this tragic time. So moving on to the third piece of news, and that is Reggie Bannister,
Yeah.
who all of us genre fans love as Reg, the ice cream seller, an unlikely hero of the Phantasm series.
Yes. Yeah.
Reggie has been battling dementia for some time now. And word broke this week that he has now moved into hospice care. So I'm going to be dropping a link. If anyone wants to send a card to Reg, I think this would be a great time for us to reach out and let this man know how important he is and has been to the horror community. Because, speaking for myself, and I'm going to ask you your opinion, but I fucking love the Phantasm series, but especially the first one.
Yeah.
Talk about such an original, such an original damn story,
Yeah.
right? That
Yeah.
you watch
Yeah.
it now, and it's like it's just one ongoing mystery that doesn't attempt to simplify itself and tie
Yeah.
itself off. It
Yes.
just does its thing, and you just go with it, and you either accept it or you don't. I love it.
Yes.
What's your feelings on Phantasm?
Well, remember when we were talking about, I think our previous episode where you asked me what was movies that you grew up with that scared the crap out of you? And again,
Yeah,
not necessarily scared the crap out of me, but creeped me out.
yeah,
Fucking Phantasm. Fucking Phantasm.
yeah,
Angus
yeah.
Scrim, the tall man. I mean, how can you not get creeped out by this guy?
Oh,
Honestly,
oh, oh, oh! Can I do it? Can I do it? I gotta do
yes,
it. I
yes,
gotta do
please,
it.
please,
Oh, oh my God, man. And he comes smashing out of the mirror and grabs the kid and
yes,
drags him in. Oh,
yes,
I
yes,
I actually
yes.
that's another one that I saw with a lot of those kind of earlier those 80s horror movies. I generally watched with my sister. We usually
Yeah.
watched together. And that particular night, my mom and dad were going out for I think it was an anniversary dinner or something.
Uh-huh.
And we went and let's rent a horror movie. And we rented Phantasm on VHS. And exactly, we were creeped the fuck out. We thought it was, but we thought it was
Yeah.
cool. We got to the end of it, we're like, damn, that was amazing. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so creepy. And
Yeah.
who thought,
Uh-huh.
and it was a genius move to make this dude who's an ice cream seller the unlikely hero of the well, I mean, he became the hero of the entire franchise,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Tell me another movie where the hero is an ice cream seller. Tell me because I don't think you can. I don't think you can.
None that I ever recall or ever heard of in a million years. Yes, the very, very unlikely hero on that one. But I think that was one of the endearing factors. I really do on that when you have this guy that you would never think twice about really anything. Okay. He was this, kind of older hippie type dude, selling ice cream, hanging around, kind of a little bit of a younger crowd. Yeah, we can't say
Yeah.
this on the podcast, but take that how you want.
Smoke and
But
be mellow. There's a good fellow.
exactly, exactly. I do my bong impersonation, but this guy that okay, downing a 12-pack, smoking some weed, selling ice cream, but he becomes a hero in this horror movie. Not in a billion years would anybody ever think that, but it worked. And another thing that creeped me out about Phantasm, the fucking little zombie demons, the reanimated zombie demons from the
Oh,
victims. Those things creep me out, almost like in Trilogy of Terror, the voodoo
yep.
doll.
The Zuni doll or whatever
Fucking
that thing
creep
was.
me
Yeah,
out,
yeah.
dude. Creep me out.
Hey, you take me right back there because you mentioning those things. I obviously we talked about how we're both Fangoria kids, right? We grew up
Yeah.
reading it. I can remember it was like issue 2, I think, of Fangoria
Uh-huh.
covered because it would have been sort of 70, 78, 79, whatever.
Yes.
And it covered Phantasm. And I remember reading an interview with Angus Scrimm where he said they were shooting the movie, and this
Uh-huh.
was right around the time that Star Wars came out.
Yeah.
And he came back to the set and said to Don Coscarelli, dude, I just went to see this movie, Star Wars. They got because they had obviously Phantasm's got what you're talking about. The little
Yeah.
guys there that look like
Yeah.
Jawas. They look like
Yes.
Jawas. And Angus Scrimm come back and he's like, I just seen this movie Star Wars, man, and
Yeah.
they got your dwarf characters that they're in the movie, the Jawas. So I thought that just took me right back there. That was
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah.
you know. But listen, to cap this section of the show off,
Yeah.
um to Mr. Reggie Bannister, if you happen to watch our show, we love you, man. Like
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
absolutely, hang in there, brother. Hang in there, man. We love you. The whole horror community loves you. And,
Yeah.
just, anyone that wants to send Reggie a card, do it. You feel like lightening things up a little bit? You
Yes.
in the mood? Yeah.
Yes.
All right, let's
But
take a breath.
yes. But I'm so glad that we paid honor and tribute to them. I really
I I'm glad. I'm glad. But we are going to lighten it up and let's talk about the monkey. Now,
am. Stupid
you
monkey.
messaged me. I saw it on
Yeah.
Friday. You saw it on Saturday.
Mhm.
You messaged me and you already told me your thoughts in Messenger. You're going to
Yes.
share them in a second. I
Yes.
deliberately didn't tell you what I thought of it because I thought, you know what, this will be fun. Let's see where, because it's different. It's a different
Yes.
movie.
Yes.
Let's see where we fall. So
Okay.
go for it. You tell. What are your initial thoughts on this adaptation of Stephen King's The Monkey by Osgood Perkins?
Yes. Who also plays Uncle Chip, by the way. Wow. I think it was for me. I say that a lot. For me, because it is my
Yeah.
opinion. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It was entertaining. I'm in the theater, and it was an empty theater because I went early, which I actually kind of enjoy. Sometimes I like being around the crowd to kind of gain their reactions to things, but I kind of wanted to just focus on this. It was entertaining. It was fun. It was brutal. It was such a dark, uh, not really dark comedy, but dark comedy elements within a horror movie. And when I first saw it, especially the poster, it was reminiscent. And Stephen King, I know you're the king of horror, original stuff like that, but it reminded me of 1988 Monkey Shines.
Oh,
Everybody
that's
remember that?
right. Right. I
Yes.
remember that.
Now,
Was that
now,
Romero? Was that George Romero?
I
Was it
I
George
believe so.
Romero?
I believe
Okay.
so. I could be wrong on that one, but I loved it. But okay, you and I again, part of the same generation, even though I'm a little bit
Yep.
older. That toy,
Yep.
when Monkey Shines first came out, that fucking monkey toy, who was not freaked out when you saw that in the store? And I think, oh my God, one of my friends had it, I believe, or a cousin. And I looked at it, it had those symbols, and it's like this. And I'm just like, I don't, that's a toy. I don't want to play with that toy. Now, the monkey had the very same toy, but it was drums, not the cymbals. And sorry, I had to kind of digress on that one, but the monkey, I think, was incredibly well done. Scene by scene, death by death, it was kind of almost reminiscent of another another movie coming out in the franchise of something we were talking about when it came to Scream Final Destination,
Oh,
where
right, with
each
the
death
deaths.
was even more imaginable or unimaginable, inventive than the last. This for me was a fun ride. I laughed. I literally laughed throughout the movie at times when people were dying. Does that say a lot about me?
If it does, then it says a hell of a lot about me too.
I'm
Because
a sick, twisted guy, but again, I love the movie. I thought it was very well done. The cast did a phenomenal job, and it was absolutely brilliant. And I was like, oh my God, when Elijah Wood came on the screen, I'm like, oh shit, Elijah Wood. Wow. Again, even for a cameo performance for the character, he was brilliant. And the boy that played the younger twins, they did a brilliant job. And that one little Asian girl, talk about a little tormentive badass.
Are you talking about the cop?
Huh?
Are you talking about the
No,
cop?
no, 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 no. Remember the girls that were in the bathroom? They were tormenting. Uh,
Oh shit! They're telling he's got a problem with his pants or
yeah,
some such, and then you see him come
she's
through the
a little
door, and
tiny
he's
girl. Like, I'll kick your ass. But
so.
again, I love the movie. I thought it was fun. It was brilliant. It was dark and brutal. It had all of the elements for me for a very entertaining horror. And another scene that I thought was particularly entertaining was the psychedelic kaleidoscope scene. I thought I was having a flashback from my old acid days. I was like, oh, far out, fucking bitching, man.
Dude.
I was like, whoa, wow. I could totally, oh, that's so cool.
But actually, you talk about the acid aspect of it, and I'm gonna let you know my thoughts
Uh,
in a second. But I'm just gonna pick up on that. You we have an old saying in Canada. You have hit the nail right on the face, my friend, because yeah, it was like it almost felt like a little bit like if Tim Burton made a
mhm.
movie, but
Okay.
also had Quentin Tarantino's big book of funny ways to die, right?
Yes. Yes. Perfect comparison. Awesome. Love it.
So I got to tell you, so this is what I thought. So
Uh,
my expectations were low going in,
oh,
but yeah, but no. I'm gonna be there. It's me. It's not you. It's not you. It's me. Right. My expectations were low because generally I don't like movies about dolls or cursed objects. Like
yeah.
they generally do nothing
Yeah.
for me. Like things like
Yes.
Chucky and
Yes.
Annabelle. Like
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
watching them and I'm like, dude, kick the fucking thing in the face, kick it across the
Yes.
room, right?
Yes.
And,
Exactly. It's
and
a fucking doll. It's a
yeah,
fucking
like
doll. Shoot
get
it.
a
Burn it.
get
Kick it.
a right, get a Louisville Slugger, smash it to fuck, and it's done. Like they
Yes.
generally don't
Yeah.
scare me, right?
Yes. Yes.
But boy, I was so wrong. I loved it. I'm exactly the same as you. I thought it was absolutely hilarious, and
Mhm.
I I make no bones about this. I'm a big funny death fan in movies.
Yes.
Like if you want to make me
Yes.
laugh, kill someone in a funny way, and I'm done. Like I'll. It's why I like Quentin Tarantino films, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
because he's got that down to a science. But yeah, the deaths in this film, I was like, and I don't want to spoil too many of the deaths for people that have seen it, but I'll give you one that I thought was hilarious. Like they were just going one and then one up in each other, one up. The woman on the golf course, and she knocks the ball, and it goes into the hole, and she looks in the hole, and a fucking cobra jumps up, bites her in the face. I'm like, who thought? Oh my god, who thought of that one?
Yeah.
That's immortal, and it just and again, one death to another. It
Yeah.
was just crazy, crazy.
Yeah.
Something that really shocked me though was well, I would say shocked me per se because I mean Osgood Perkins already proved with Longlegs that he's like an incredible director, but
Yeah.
some of it was so beautifully shot. Like in particular, the scene there, if you remember, where it goes to suddenly you get a shot of a tree
Uh-huh.
and with old bear and it's flashing hypnotically blue, red, blue, red,
Yeah.
and you're like,
Yeah.
what the hell is going on? And then you suddenly clue in, oh my god, it's a cop car, and it cuts down and there's a cop car outside the house,
Yeah.
right? And it's just reflecting off of the. I was just like, wow, that was great. But other standout points for me was I thought Theo James did a fantastic job
Oh,
in the lead role.
brilliant job. Yes.
You know,
Yes.
one of the big tropes when we were kids in the 80s there was, whenever you watch shows, be it Knight Rider,
Yeah.
V, Logan's Run, I could go right through them. There was
Yeah.
always an episode with an equal twin, but it always felt like this is just the same actor doing like, like it's just doing the same shtick, but evil.
Yeah, yeah,
But he really pulled that off in a way that it felt like two completely, it felt like brothers. It felt like
yeah,
but it was him playing both roles, but he did it
yeah.
expertly. Um, yeah, like absolutely incredible job there. And again, something else going back to what usually pisses me off with these Doe movies, but I accepted it in this one. I
Uh-huh.
don't even know why I really accepted it, but there's always that trope with these things that you can't destroy it. You
Yes.
can't, and it
Yeah.
follows you around, like because partly it's because the filmmakers know that, like we said, in real life, you just kick the thing to pieces,
Yeah, yeah,
smash it, throw it in a
yeah,
fire. But
yeah,
in this particular film, I found it very eerie the way
yeah,
that the thing kept showing up. And you
yes.
also had that massive chunk of time where they threw it down the well
Hmm.
and
Yes.
things were quiet.
Yeah.
Things were dead for years, right? But then all of a sudden it shows up again. But yeah, what did you think of the originality of it? Like for me, I'm
Hmm.
really pissed off with every other film. It still seems like these days is either a
Yeah.
sequel, a
Hmm.
reboot, or something from like an existing IP. How did you feel about this? Because I one of the things that jumped out at me was I was like, wow, this feels fresh. It feels like
Yeah.
something different. I mean, what were your thoughts on
No, it was very original. Again, and I did verify it was George A. Romero who did Monkey Shines, and
Monkey Shines? Okay.
he's the godfather of horror, modern horror. And again, when I saw the poster for the monkey, and I'm like, wait a minute, come on now. And in Monkey Shines, the monkey was killing people. Okay,
Right.
but it was original. Again, it was entertaining, and each death was as deliciously entertaining as the last. But my favorite, well, I can't say my favorite because they were all pretty damn good. Uh, One of them, and this definitely brings to light the truth of never ever mess with the hornet's nest.
Oh my
That's all
God,
I'm going to say
yeah.
about that. That's all I'm going to say about that. But it was so funny when this character came to the screen for the first time, introducing the character. I was like, dude, fucking Joey Ramone, man, of the Ramones.
And that was actually a pleasant surprise for me because it
Yeah.
was Rohan Campbell
Mm-hmm. Yes.
from Halloween Ends, which is a movie that we are going to talk about another time, actually,
Uh,
because there's a lot. Because I, there's a little bit of a sidebar here, but I
yeah.
loved Halloween Ends. I hate the fact that it got so slammed by people, and
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a movie that's going to go through a serious reevaluation. But that's a show for another time. But
Yeah.
it was,
But
yeah, the minute he showed up, I was like, oh my God, it's and I'm sitting there in my seat thinking,
uh-huh.
Brian Campbell, it's the dude from Halloween Ends. Good to see. But yeah, he
Yeah.
did kind of look like Joey Ramone there with that. I think to cap off my own thoughts, because
Uh-huh.
that I've pretty much said all I want to say on the monkey, but I would like to cap off my thoughts by saying we need more films like that. We need more films that, I was having a discussion with a friend the other day that is that so many movies that we loved from
Mm-hmm.
the 80s, and we may have talked about
Yeah.
this a little bit in the Vampire Show,
Yeah.
is that there's so many films that were so imaginative that studios would never take a chance on these days.
Yeah.
Never. Because they're
Yeah.
terrified. Oh my God. Well, people don't know the IP. People don't know. Well, nobody's going to show up. It's like, we need more of that. We need more
Yes.
freshness. And again, actually, uh, getting back to Osgood
Mm-hmm.
Perkins, the director,
Yeah.
Longlegs was,
Yeah.
and it was the same. It was
Phenomenal movie.
felt fresh.
Phenomenal. Oh my God.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, worn subject material, but it felt fresh. So
And Nicolas Cage, wow.
so I
Wow.
guess we're both on the Osgood Perkins
Oh yeah,
uh,
yeah, yeah.
train there.
And I'm gonna add to what you said. Studios, for the most part, have had their heads shoved up so far up their fucking asses that they get lost in their they get lost in the throat going, wait, is there a light opening over there? They don't know. Just and again, I know we don't discuss politics unless it's the politics
Politics.
again.
No, 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 no. We can't do that. We can't do that again.
but but studios, and that's why independence. Thank God for independence, and a lot of the independent studios have really come up throughout the
Agreed.
years because they know how to deliver what audiences want. So back to my point, just like the two political parties, they have their comfort zones here. Okay,
Yeah.
studios and political parties forget there's a lot of us in the middle who want something original,
Something
imaginative,
different.
off the far beaten path. We want
Yeah.
that. Cater to us. Trust me, it's going to be a safe bet.
You're right. You're 100% right. And when you look at when you look at your favorite experiences in movies, you know, especially in like the horror, sci-fi genres,
Yeah,
you know, you
yeah.
look at Halloween, you know, The Terminator,
Mm-hmm. Aliens.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
These things like if it's what's that movie, Field of Dreams? If you build it, they will come. You just
Yes.
need to do it
Yeah.
right and
Yeah.
take a bit of a fucking chance, right?
Yeah. Evil Dead.
Yes. Yes.
Brilliant.
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 Original, humorous, dark, just a fun ride.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's yeah. You know what? Evil Dead that's a great example because that was, you know, and again, it was that whole thing of I think they shot Sam Raimi said they shot it over I don't know if it was a year or 2 years or something like that, but they didn't have the money up front, so
Yeah.
they would get their money, film some more, get their money, film some more.
Yeah.
Whatever way you need to do it,
Yeah.
just get it done. Do it independent, and yeah,
Yeah.
show the studios, remind them how it's done.
Went in with low expectations, but you were entertained.
Oh, mate.
Yeah.
If I haven't made myself blatantly clear, I loved it. I thought it was absolutely terrific. And you know what? Maybe I will the next time that something comes out that sort of, you know, goes against the grain of what I need to stop being I said it last show, cranky old limes, right? I need to stop being cranky old limes.
You should take a chill pill. You should relax, enjoy.
Shut the fuck up. And on that note, it's been a wonderful Sunday show with you, mate. You going to be watching the
Yes.
Oscars tonight?
No,
All right. Well, then that pretty
I
much
have
says it.
not watched the Oscars in years. It's a stroke fest.
Yeah, you're right. You know
And
what though? I just feel like I can't resist it. I feel like
yeah,
I don't know, man. If I feel like I need to put on my tuxedo and it just feels like an event to me. But I don't know. I get
yeah,
different
yeah.
strokes for
No, when
different
I was a
folks, right?
kid, again, being, wanting to be in the industry and stuff like that, I was enthralled. I watched every Oscar, but again, those were the classic days. Okay, the classic days. Uh, and I idolized every single one of them. But I haven't watched the Oscars in years because sometimes the Oscars go to people that you're like, really? So and so deserved it way more. What the hell? So
Oh,
after a few years of that, I was like, I love the industry too much, and I don't need to bother. I'll wait to hear who won what the next day.
it has been a pleasure again, my friend. To our ice creamers out there,
Yes,
please consider sending Reggie Bannister a card. I say that once again. I'm dropping the address again for you there. And also, as far as we go here, as far as Mr. Cool J and myself, please subscribe to the channel. Tell your
yes,
friends to subscribe to the channel. Like the videos. Comment on the videos. It pushes us in the algorithm. All right.
yes.
It's us or people eating Tide Pods. Your choice. All right. Okay. What
Hmm.
you want? You feeling
That's a
peckish?
tough choice. That's a
Are you
tough
feeling
choice.
peckish? Are you feeling peckish? You want a Tide
Well,
Pod?
everybody wants that nice, clean, minty, fresh breath.
Dude, you get a minty fresh breath? You get a fucking minty fresh death, my friend. I don't know about anything else. You
Well,
got
but you know
Tide Pod.
that deep clean.
Deep clean.
If you
Deep
want it to be
cleansing.
clean, it has to be Tide.
This is Mr. Lucky Limes saying peace out, and Mr. Cool J.
Mr. Lawrence E. Cool J. Gibbs saying, wait a minute, wait for it, bring it back, keep screaming.
We'll catch you next time, folks. Adios.
Take care.